Hi guys, this is Amanda from Hearn Family Homestead. Welcome back. Today I thought I'd show you my quick and easy method for taking care of a sourdough start. I was doing some research the other day on how to take care of a sourdough start, and I don't know if you guys have realized, but there is a lot of information out there on weights and measurements, and it can be really confusing. So I'm going to show you how I do my sourdough. It's really simple. It may not be the right way, but it works for me, and I've kept my sourdough start alive for a long time. So first I need to grind some grain. I like to use whole wheat. I grind it myself for my sourdough start and for all of my baked goods, but you don't have to. You can use white flour, you can find whole wheat flour in the store, but I do have a grinder, so I like to grind it myself. I'm going to be using soft white wheat today. You can use hard red. That works better for breads. Soft white works better for pastries and things like that, and I'm planning on making biscuits later. So I usually keep my sourdough going with the soft white, and then if I need to make bread or something more substantial, I'll go with the hard red wheat flour. So I'm just going to grind this. I get my wheat from Azure Standard. I will link to them below, and they're really a great company, family owned, and I appreciate their product. So now that we have flour, I'm going to show you how I feed my sourdough start. Now, like I said, you don't have to use home ground whole wheat. Whatever you have on hand is fine. I've also used rye flour before, and it works great. So what I'm going to do before I feed my sourdough start is I'm actually going to put it in a clean jar. I usually put it in a clean jar every second to third day. It just keeps anything from building up around the edges, keeps it nice and clean, and it keeps the sourdough microorganisms pure to what you want them to be. So I'm going to transfer it into this other jar. As long as the jar will hold your starter, then you're good. Sometimes if I'm going to make a large recipe, I do use a 2-quart jar or even a gallon jar if you really are making a lot of bread or biscuits or whatever you might be making. So I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. And depending on how much starter you need, you can add more or less. Okay, so I've got some flour in there. I didn't measure it, I didn't weigh it, and now I'm going to add some water. And I add just a little bit of water, and then I'll stir it. And you don't want it to be thick, like toothpastey, but you don't want it to be super runny either. Like this. If you can see that, that's a little on the thick side. And so I'm going to add some more water. Alright, so that's about the consistency that you want to end up with. It's about like pancake batter, I would say. Not runny and not thick. And just make sure that you get the sides scraped down really well. Get the bottom mixed in. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on it. And you don't want to tighten the lid all the way. You can also just put a coffee filter with rubber band over it, or anything that will keep out bacteria and bugs but let in a little bit of air. So I'm just going to loosely put the lid on, and I'm just going to barely screw it down at all. I'm not tightening that. A lot of places say to feed your sourdough starter twice a day. I only feed mine once a day. I give it enough that it will work through the next day. As long as it's sweet smelling, you're fine. If it goes bad, you will definitely know. It will smell off. It won't have that kind of a sweet, sour smell to it. And just in case it goes bad, if I forget about it, get busy outside and don't feed it, and or if it grows mold or anything like that, what I do is I keep a backup in the refrigerator with a lid on it in a little jar. And then I feed this about once a week to once every 2 weeks. It cools it down so it will work more slowly at eating that gluten. And so it's nice to have a backup in case my one that I keep on the counter doesn't work out. This is the sourdough start that I keep in the fridge. You can see the bubbles coming up. It's still active. It's just working a lot slower. And this is the sourdough start that I just fed. You can see the bubbles are already starting. It's already starting to work and eat all the gluten. So be sure and check out my other video where I make sourdough biscuits from this same starter. And thanks for joining me. I hope it helps and makes sourdough a lot easier for you.